deep within the Sanctum of Rebirth, where soulfire veins pulse beneath obsidian stone, Vermyx, the broodmother, coils in eternal vigil. Once a worm of the Caridian sands, she prowled the desert with her clutch of unhatched progeny, feared and revered as a primal force of nature. But when Amascut's corruption spread, Vermyx was enthralled, twisted into a soul devourer and bound to the sanctum's threshold as its first guardian. Her brood, now tainted by divine rage, feeds on the essence of intruders, and her own body channels worm fire and moonstone shards with devastating precision. She is not merely a beast, she is a mother whose children are born of shadow and hunger, and each battle against her is a trial by flame and fang. Those who enter her lair do so not to slay her, but to survive her, for Vermyx does not die, she endures, and her clutch grows ever restless. In the deepest reaches of the Sanctum of Rebirth, beyond the scorched remains of Vermyx's clutch, stalks Kezalam, a horned monstrosity born of shadow and myth. Once a dark beast that roamed the Caridian desert during the Third Age, she was whispered about in bedtime tales to frighten children into returning home before nightfall. But myth gave way to truth when a hunting party tracked her to a murky cavern, only to be torn apart by her wrath. Those who survived spoke of a towering silhouette, blades for limbs, and blood that pulsed with unnatural rage. Drawn by her strength and fury, Amascut claimed Kezalam as a soul devourer, binding her to the sanctum's second chamber. Now, she serves not out of loyalty but instinct, a predator honed by centuries of isolation and torment. Her attacks are precise, her mechanics relentless, and her prison is no longer a cage, it is a hunting ground. Adventurers who face her do not battle a boss. They trespass into the lair of a legend, and Kezalam waits in the dark, ever hungry. Long before the Sanctum of Rebirth fell into shadow, Nakatra stood as a revered figure among the Order of Slayer Masters. Trained by Amascut herself in the art of soul devouring, Nakatra was once a guardian of balance, a slayer who hunted monstrosities born from corrupted magic. But the sanctum whispered secrets no mortal was meant to hear, and as the centuries passed, Nakatra's devotion twisted into obsession. She began to see Amascut not as a teacher, but as a divine truth. The sanctum's power seeped into her veins, granting her immortality at the cost of her sanity. She abandoned the surface world, choosing instead to remain in the sanctum, where she could offer sacrifices and commune with the devourer. During the Sixth Age, Nakatra orchestrated soul harvests from the city of using a suspicious stranger to lure victims into the sanctum's depths. These souls were not slain, they were consumed, empowering Amascut and binding Nakatra ever tighter to her god's will. Now, she is no longer a slayer. She is the sanctum incarnate, its voice, its fury, its final judgment. And so the Sanctum of Rebirth stands not as a dungeon, but as a monument to Amascut's descent and the souls twisted in her wake. Vermyx, the broodmother, guards the threshold with primal fury. Kezalam, the wanderer, stalks the shadows with ancient hunger. And Nakatra, Devourer Eternal, waits at the heart, a slayer reborn as a god's blade. Each trial within the sanctum is more than combat, it is a reckoning. Those who endure its depths do not merely survive, they are reshaped, marked by soulfire and silence. For in the sanctum, rebirth is not a gift. It is a curse whispered through the bones of the fallen.